Welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to F1 2017, and welcome back to Melbourne, Australia, and the Grand Prix of Australia. So let's get started. We'll get the race going, and then I'll tell you what's going on. And is it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Right. So, several interesting things have happened since our last episode. First thing was, I was trying to do a backup, and I uninstalled... Oh, yeah. Between the two, I uninstalled F1 2017, and I somehow deleted all my save games. So that's how you want to do a backup. When you're backing up, that's what you want to do. We started again. Had to start again. We qualified P4, and if you saw that start, we got sandwiched, we got cold tires, there's bumping. Hey, man, I've been playing this game for about 3 months. I love it. I'm not really very good at it, but I have to say I did a lot better this time than I ever have before. And the other thing you can hear is we are on a proper microphone now. We're on a Yeti, a Blue Yeti, which is, that's the one that everybody uses. That's the one we're using. So, yeah, man, started again. And I have to say, I'm not terribly upset about it. Every crisis is an opportunity. And this really worked out okay. And I'll tell you why. When we started this, I am the Portable Gamer. I am. And my rig fits into a medium-sized duffel bag. Maybe a medium to big duffel bag. And I want to keep it that way because I spend a lot of my time on the road, and I would love to have a big motion rig. I really would. But that's not in the cards. Not going to happen. So the way it's going to work out is I thought I was going to be on a gamepad. I went ahead and got a wheel maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And, Kimi Räikkönen, that cat can make his car wide. We're pinned in fourth, but we are working on Kimi Räikkönen. So I went ahead and got a wheel a few weeks ago, and we did our last few races in F1. We did them with the wheel. And it makes a difference, and I have to admit that, no, you are never going to be as fast on a gamepad as you are on a wheel. I know there are people that are incredibly fast on a gamepad. Props to them. But, pound for pound, dollars to donuts, however you want to say it, if you want to be serious about racing, you're going to be on a wheel. And I'd like to think of myself as serious about racing, so yeah, I'm on the wheel. It changes everything. It's completely different. And I wouldn't say... Well, I am faster, but what I really am is I'm more precise. I'm more accurate, and I feel like I'm doing this for real. I feel like the other way, with the gamepad, it was fun, for sure, but it was like we were just playing. And I know, I see on the forums, I know there are people that say F1 2017 isn't even a real sim, it's just an arcade game, and I don't agree. I think it is absolutely a sim. But as I've talked about in other videos, you've got to make your product accessible. You can't make a game that's impossible for people to play, or that is so specific and so brutal that only a very small percentage of the population is going to want to play it. If you spend a lot of money developing a game, you want people to buy it, you want people to play it, you want to make money from it so you can make more games. So it's a hard game, but it is an accessible game. I was playing it on a gamepad, and if you dial back the AI far enough, yeah, you can have a great time playing it on a gamepad. So it is an accessible game, but it's not an arcade game, and I'm not going to argue on the internet. Not with you. I'm not saying you and I are arguing, but I'm not going to go on a comment board. I'm not going to go on a thread and argue with somebody about whether or not F1 2017 is an arcade game. I can understand why people would say that. It's a lot more playable than something like iRacing in terms of getting into it and getting used to it. But if you play it for real, pass it on Räikkönen. But then, spoiler alert, I did get the pass on Räikkönen, but I'm so gripped right now that I'm gonna throw it away, and he's gonna get the pass back. I think it's either Räikkönen or Vettel. I want to say it's Räikkönen. Yeah, I got Räikkönen, and then he got me right back. Unless it already happened. That could be it too. Anyway, feeling a lot better and feeling a lot more serious as a sim racer. You know, feeling like this is a thing. So definitely enjoying it, and then the microphone. Little by little, I'm the less than portable gamer, but I feel like it had to happen, and I'm glad that it did. I still need to get. Oh god, I tried to record this race live, haha, and I just got the microphone earlier this afternoon, so I had to check my levels, of course, and I just had the microphone on its base on the same desk that I have my wheel mounted to. And when I listened to the playback, waiting for the payback, it sounded like the earth was quaking. It was picking up the low frequency rumble from the force feedback, and it was like brown note. Oh, that's what I do. I get Vettel. Maybe this lap. Yeah, I get Vettel here. No, maybe next lap. But either way, I get Vettel, and then I immediately give it back. Because I'm just so freaked out about the fact that I passed a car. No, what the hell was I talking about? The Blue Yeti. Yeah, I'm going to need to get a stand for it. I'm going to need to get vibration isolation. I'm going to need to get a pop screen for it. And yeah, man, little by little, just becoming more of a professional YouTuber and really enjoying the whole process. I think on iRacing. I'm thinking of doing a series that is from like rookie license to pro license, and I mean I've already got my skins designed for my team, the Portable Gamer team, and it's a whole scene. I can't wait to get into B and A and pro, but I ain't there yet. So I thought that'd be cool to document that. And again, you know, you need a wheel. I guess you can run iRacing on a gamepad, but as stiff as the competition is, you know, when you've got real NASCAR drivers and retired NASCAR drivers playing iRacing, yeah, you're not playing that on a gamepad. So, looking forward to that. And what else is going on? And continuing to eyeball and drool over. Yeah, I think I get him. Continuing to eyeball and drool over gaming laptops and knowing what I want, knowing what I'm going to get is very exciting. I think I may set a benchmark, and there's a couple that I can set. There's a couple that would really, really work well. And one would be, I won't buy that laptop until I can buy it with money that I've made from YouTube, which I know would make my girlfriend very happy. She's extremely supportive about this project, but you know, money's money. Money's about as real as it gets. Making my little first pit stop here, coming off the Ultra Soft, and I believe we're going on to Super Soft. Yeah, I want to say. Now, something else that I can tell you already. I'm recording this in action, which is... And I don't understand why we sat there so long. I don't think I was serving a penalty, but I waited until my guy released me. And he took forever to release me. I don't know how I felt about that. We are in, I want to say, P16 now? P16? P16 or like P18. We're very, very much far down in the field. And we get a couple passes and then everybody pits and we make our way much more toward the front. What was I saying? Oh yeah, new laptop. I don't know if I'm going to wait and only buy a new laptop, a new gaming laptop, when I've made enough money from the channel. Or, I mean, that might never happen. I would hate for that to be the case, but that might never happen. And then, what, I'd never get a new gaming laptop? But there's other benchmarks, too. We could do 1,000 subs. Because, you know, I have 33 now, so 1,000 is, like, right around the corner. We could do 1,000 subs. We could do, 100,000 views or whatever. Figure something out. But I've thought about that. Oh, yeah. I feel like that's my spot. I feel like that's my spot right there. I got, like, 3 or 4 people so far right there. So, yep, that's it. And I think we're going to do this whole race. I know these are longer videos, and I know, I mean, if you're really into Formula One, how do I want to say this? If you're really into Formula One, there are plenty of other channels to watch better than mine. So I think the only reason you'd be watching this is if you're really into me. Yeah. So I think that's why I try to make it interesting, is that there is a lot of competition out there. And there are a lot of people that you can see playing F1 2017. But the reason you come here is because of all the gaming stuff I send your way, and all the whatever. Maybe. I don't know. But I know people are watching the videos. I'm getting some views. I'm getting some likes, and it's super cool. It's not, I mean, the validation is nice, but it's also fun to see like where I started from and where it is now. To know that we've made a little bit of progress. That's a very cool thing. What else? Now I have reinstalled F1 2017, and I'm really not happy with my frame rate, but I'm happy with my render. For sure happy with my render. And I did use the auto graphics setup, and it took everything to high and ultra. And I don't know where I'm at with that, because, and I think, who am I fighting with here? Sainz or Hulkenberg? Don't know, but we're Dyson. Maybe this is the guy that I get, and he gets me right back. It's somebody. There's somebody that I pass, and then I get so goofy about my pass that I immediately like throw it away, and they get me back. It's awesome. That is that's why I got to keep the AI turned down. But I will say this: first time we did this race on a gamepad about 3 months ago. Yeah, it was 3 months, give or take. First time we did this game. First time we did this GP on a gamepad several months ago. I think I got 20. I couldn't have got 21st. That's a GT3 race. I didn't do well. I got like P17 or something. I really did not do well at all. And now we got a podium in our first race of the season. That will definitely make it easier to upgrade the car and make it easier to win rivalries. We're also going to get an invitational, and with the wheel, we got an invitational last week after the Red Bull Ring, maybe? Where'd we go after the Red Bull Ring? Silverstone. After Silverstone, we got an invitational, and we didn't win. Oh, look at me. We didn't win, but we completed it to like whatever. It was satisfactory, and we got the points. So I don't think I'd be doing that on the gamepad. In fact, I know I wouldn't, because I was never able to, unless I absolutely potatoed the AI, and that's no fun. So we are catching these fools up. I want to say we're in about P7, P8. A bunch of folks have pitted. We're at the end of this train here, and it looks like Silver Arrow in front of us, and then Toro Rosso. Oh, can't do that with the gamepad either. That is only when you got a brake pedal. So I see Silver Arrow, and it looks like, no, McLaren, and then up in front of them, I mean, I'm tempted to say that's Hulkenberg, because he'd be up in front of Sainz, but what would a Renault be doing in front of a Mercedes? I don't know. I continue to be frustrated by this replay system. I really wish there could be an overlay. And I have found a ton of threads online that said the reason they don't do that is because Google's scanning software, if you do that, it sees it as real race coverage because the graphics are so good. It sees it as real race coverage, and it sends it back to FOM that there's a copyright strike. So, but in a way that makes zero sense at all. Well, first off, I can't understand why FOM would even care. I mean, I know they don't want people rebroadcasting their broadcast on YouTube, but is that really the only way to filter it out? Like, it looks for this is what I'm told. It looks for the graphical overlay with the leaderboard and everything. It looks for that, and if it sees that over top of this, I mean, this isn't really photorealistic, but it's close. But it sees that, and then it it either strikes it or whatever, and it just turns into a big thing, and they have to keep appealing it, and that's the whole scene. So, I don't know. It could just be an internet story. People tell stories on the internet. I'm getting loosey-goosey on these tires, and I want to say we are about lap 12, maybe 13, and we have an unimproved car, and I'm definitely cooking the tires off this thing. Now, I hope you stick around till the end, because the end of this race, actually, after my second pit stop, I got no speeding penalties this race either. I got no penalties at all. And again, it comes down to the wheel. But what the hell was I going to say? The end of this race. Man, I took 2 extra laps of fuel. And if you know this game, if you play this game, that is an absolutely absurd amount of fuel to take into a race. If you're good at this game, you're like, damn, why don't you just, like, take a heavy thing? I can't think of a heavy thing. Boat anchor. Why don't you just carry a boat anchor with you in the car? It's a ridiculous amount of fuel. And I still almost ran out. I was on Rich Mix for about 2 laps. I think, because I'm chasing Raikkonen. So that would say we're back up to about P4. I'm chasing Raikkonen, and I'm in Rich Mix for a couple laps. And then I finally let him go. I can see in my HUD, I can see that I'm using too much fuel. I let him go and go back to standard. And then maybe 7 or 8 laps from the end, maybe more than that, maybe about 10 laps from the end, I look down and I can see that we're like 0.1 laps in the red. We're going to miss it by 0.1 laps. So I go to lean mix. Well, hey, instead of me telling you how the race ends, why don't we watch it together? Yeah. This is the combination of my autism, my OCD, Red Bull, which is good for both Asperger's and OCD, and being really into this game. Really, really into this game. And all racing sims in general. So, let's do this. I'm going to hit my vape, and you watch for a minute. I'll be right back. So I'm curious, I did say I was recording in Action, and Action, I've noticed, cuts your frame rate about in half. And I don't know why. I don't know why it does that. I want to say I'm using Action for this because Shadowplay doesn't work, but I don't know. Maybe there's another reason. But I know Action in general cuts your frame rate like in half. So I don't know. I also know I was running Reshade and SweetFX on my previous installation of F1 2017. And I feel like that put us at DX11, and we may be in DX9 or even OpenGL here. So we'll see when we get to the end. Yeah, I mean, you can see there's some like very subtle overcorrections, and as I'm particularly in iRacing, as I'm really getting into iRacing and really understanding like what racing is, those tiny little corrections, like to not have the perfect trajectory through a turn and have to correct, it scrubs just the tiniest little bit of speed off, and it's like a tenth here and a tenth there, and you think about a tenth of a second, it's literally the blink of an eye, and a tenth here and a tenth there, and you're half a second slower. And over, this is half length, so 30 laps, you're 15 seconds off. You're out of DRS range. And I mean, that's, I know F1 has turned into a lot of procession racing, and you know, first can be a minute in front of last, but it used to be, like 10 years ago, first could be a minute in front of second. And it seems like they've gotten away from that quite a bit, that they've made F1 a lot tighter. Good on them, but it's still, you know, it's tenths of a second, hundredths of a second, and if those little corrections and those little bobbles here and there, where you don't take that perfect trajectory, that's what kills a race. And I'm finding it of all places, I'm finding it on short oval tracks. In iRacing, I go out and I turn the absolute hottest lap that I can. I'm sideways the whole time. I'm barely in control the whole time. And I turn like a 31.3. And I pull in and I'm like P15. I've qualified P15. And everybody in front of me, they're only in front of me by a tenth of a second, but they're within hundredths of a second of each other. And I'm a tenth of a second back. And it's like, okay, they didn't all just get lucky. It's not like I was a tenth slow or P1 was a tenth fast. Like, they're all a tenth of a second faster than me, and they're within hundredths of a second of each other. And it's like, no, I'm just slow. But I don't know how I can be any faster. I guess I want to say specifically, yeah, here is where I get him, and then I go wide, and he gets me right back. God, when did I do that? He doesn't get me back. Yeah, he does. Right there. That was one. Why did I think that happened on like lap 3? I think we're on about lap 15. So yeah, it's, you know, I know I can be faster because I can see that everybody else is faster. So I know it's possible to make the car go faster in iRacing on those oval tracks. But I guess what I'm saying is, I know it's not my line. I feel like, you know, when you get down to a tenth of a second over half a mile or 3/4 of a mile on a short track, when you get down to a tenth of a second over that distance, it's not your line at that point. And it's, you know, you're staying flat to the floor a lot of times. So it's not a question of, you know, braking too early or accelerating too late or anything. When you are a tenth off on a track like that, it comes down to not having the right trajectory, which is different than the right line. You can be on the right line, but if you're scrubbing the front tires, if you're correcting, even though you're on the line, what you're doing to stay on it is scrubbing off a little speed. And that, I believe, is the most important lesson that I'm going to get out of iRacing, and it's going to apply to all racing sims. But when I see myself do that little correction midway through a turn and know that, you know, I didn't take the absolute smooth line, 10th here, 10th there, you know, it adds up. And that's, you know, we talk about a tenth, let's say a tenth in every turn, and there's 15 turns. It's a second and a half per lap. So now 15 laps later, what is that, 15, now you're 20 plus seconds behind. Now you're a full pit stop behind. And it's like, you just can't give that away. You can't give a car in front of you the opportunity to pit and get fresh tires and stay in front of you. That's no good. So, God, man, I love racing games. I cannot believe the era that I live in, that this is what we get, you know. And to think that years ago, I'm not being an ass when I say this. Well, I kind of am. But to think, like, you know, what did you play with? Oh, I played with a hoop and a stick, you know, or played kick the can or something. And I understand it's different. You know, I'm very fortunate to live in the country that I live in and have access to the resources that I have. But still, it's a different time to be entertaining yourself than it was, you know, 50 or 100 years ago. But this is so next level. And what, 2 weeks from now? 3 weeks from now? We get F1 2018. And, okay, that's an interesting question. I'm on the fence about F1 2018, and I'll tell you why. I've only had F1 2017 for like 3 months. And F1 2018, I'm told, is really going to be more or less the same. There's not like a, you know, quantum jump forward in gaming technology or anything. It's more or less identical. It's just got different drivers on different teams, and it's got the halo. And I think a couple of the tracks are different. That's it. You know, but trying to grow the channel, I understand that people want to see the newest thing. So I'm really on the fence about whether or not it's worth it to get it. I've almost the right side of the pit entrance, that little padded whatever. I've almost hit it both my pit stops, and I don't know why I'm like pulling to the right. So I don't know if I want to get F1 2018. Same thing. Why does he hold me? What is that about, man? I don't get it. Clutch in on the gas. I don't understand. Yeah, so F1 2018. I guess the only reason I would get it, because I don't, there's nothing about F1 2017 that I'm not loving. So if I got F1 2018, it's like, why? You know, and if the only reason is to make videos to get views, I mean, I do want to grow the channel, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to buy views by putting a video of a game that I'm really, I wouldn't say that I'm not into it, because I'll be into it. I just don't need it. You know, I have this and it's working fine for me. So, I don't know. And I also don't like that it comes out in the middle of the season. I think that's, I wouldn't do that. I if it was me, if I was Codemasters, I would release the game after the season or before the season, but not during the season, because I feel like, right? You know what I mean? Like, I know there are YouTubers that do whatever race is going on that week. That's the race they do on their channel. I think that's awesome. What I don't like about that is when they release the new game, you know, you can't, if they had released F1 2018 before the season started, then you could do every race the weekend that they ran it. And if they did it the year after, then it would be like a retro thing. You would do every race that weekend, but it would be last year's race or whatever. You see what I'm saying. But halfway through the season, it's like halfway in between. What do you do? I guess what you could do is do the first half of the season in the previous year. I don't know. You see what I'm getting at. It just doesn't work. So I would like to complete this season, particularly since I started with a podium finish. And I feel like that's going to put me in much better position at the end of the season to have an improved car or to become first driver or whatever. And I want to do that. I know I've seen some people online that have gone through like 4 and 5 seasons. So we'll see. It's the first race, and we've got 2 weeks to decide what we want to do. And Formula One is on vacation anyway, so it's not like we need to do a race to match the circuit that they're at. Right, and I get this wrong every time. Every time I try to move arrows, I move to the wrong car. Nope, I got it. So we're back to P4. So we pitted, and then a lap or two after us, everybody else pitted. So I think, I want to say there's about 10 laps to go. And let me see. I just looked and I already forgot. P4. Okay. So we do, we get a pass on a pit stop. We don't get a green flag pass. Oh, that's the other thing. I have safety car and penalties and everything turned on. I got no penalties this race, and there were no full course caution or VSC. Ran clean. Although this is a track that's not necessarily known for a lot of safety cars. So there was one other thing I was going to say. I was going to tell you something. So we're in P4 now. We end up in P3. We pass someone in the pit. But then, well, I keep doing that. We're close enough to the end of the race. You can just see for yourself how it ends. But it's good stuff. And I was really, really definitely pleased with the improvement that I can feel that I made just by going to the wheel. And I know that's one of those things like, well, you didn't make an improvement. You just bought a wheel. Well, yeah, but I'm continuing to improve my rig. I struggle with this turn. I always have. And through here, well, it's a turn, but it's not really a turn. I'm okay through here. This little kink right here, I'm okay there. This one gets me every time. I did better this race, but that one gets me. Man, I just love race cars. How do you not love race cars? How do you not? Right, so we'll see. And it could be, okay, I hadn't even thought about that. Because who ends up right behind us is Bottas. And I want to say that happens because he pits that's who we pass for third, and that's how he ends up behind us. Because he's not behind us now. And then all of a sudden he's like right there. But it's probably as many Grand Prix as I've done. We're up to about race 10. In the series that I deleted, the career that I deleted, we're up to about race 10. And how do I want to say this? I do, for every race that I do and record, I do 2 or 3 practice Grand Prix, not in career mode, just like a freestanding Grand Prix of that track. So call it 30 races, and it's probably the most that I've ever felt like I was actually racing with one of the AI cars, and not just, like right now we're kind of running solo, and I want to say here my laps are about 1.3 seconds off the pace. I do so much better when I either have somebody behind me or somebody in front of me. I don't know. There's a name for that in racing. I can't remember what it is, but that's me. But once we get Bottas behind us, I definitely pick up the pace. Oh, and I'm having fuel problems too. Well, not fuel problems, but I don't know where I'm at on fuel, because my Jeff is telling me there's a bad sensor, and he's saying you could be getting some bad information. And I'm like, so does that mean I do have fuel? What's going on? And then he's telling me, you have 5 laps, you have 4 laps of fuel. He's telling me you got 5 laps of fuel, and I'm like, yeah, we got 6 laps of race. So I'm going to lean mix, and I end up with Bottas behind me, and it's a whole scene, man. Oh, and the tires are coming apart on me. So these are things that I could not do with the gamepad, and I definitely appreciate the difference. Now, next stop is direct drive wheel, because I'm on a Thrustmaster TMX right now, which is, it feels like my first car. It feels like I just got Honda Accord 4-door, a used Honda Accord 4-door, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's like the best car ever, and so on and so on. But I've got the Thrustmaster TMX that I paid like $250 for, and it's a consumer wheel. It's a kid's wheel. I've got it bolted to a desk, and I love it. It is awesome. And I think, how much am I going to love it when I get Fanatec? And then how much am I going to love it when I upgrade from there and go to some kind of boutique direct drive system, and so on and so on. So it's always a progression. Everything's awesome the day you get it, and then you get used to it, and then you move on to the next one. And if you, for some reason, yeah, he's coming out of the pit right now. Is that what I'm seeing? Yep. I think that's what's going on. So you look back at what you had that you were so that was so awesome, and it's still awesome in kind of a nostalgic way, but it's like, oh yeah, I could never go back to that. And that is how Bottas catches me. Bottas. Tires are going away, and I'm trying to baby the car, and I'm trying to save fuel, and the whole deal. I think he starts about 11 seconds behind me, and I'm trying to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Is that what they say? Yeah, that's what they say. I run wide a couple times. I don't actually spin the car, and for once I don't damage my front wing, but I basically give Bottas back an 11-second cushion that I have on him. I just, one turn at a time, one bad turn at a time, I just gradually give him back every second that he needs to catch me. So, ain't it cool? And what was the other thing? I keep thinking of things that I want to send your way, and then I totally forget them. Oh well. Where are we at? Yep, I know where we're at. And also I do a couple of drift moves, unintentional drift moves. That ain't too cool. Yeah, man, this would be so much better if we could see the leaderboard and see the gaps and everything. It would be so much cooler. Codemasters, fix it. You want people to record this and put it on YouTube. You do. So, well, to be fair, it could be Formula One management that's coming at them. Like Codemaster has it all teed up, and FOM is like, no. You got to turn that off. But I can't see why there wouldn't be a leaderboard. I guess in a perfect world, you'd have Crofty and what's his name calling the race, because there's really not. You know what I mean? It's like they call the whole race in cliches. All you would need to do is just record all those cliches and just play them back using specific sound files for whoever is passing whoever. I think you could do that. Maybe there's a few unusual situations, but I think you could get a decent sort of automated call of the race. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Right. Getting close. Not too many laps to go. And I want to say right here, I think we're about lap 25. Yeah. I want to say that my Jeff is telling me we're like 14 seconds back. Yeah, that was an 11-second gap. Looks like it's about 7 right now. So he's catching me up. Oh, and he catches me up. But my Jeff is on the radio telling me that I am 14 seconds back from the lead, and somewhere between me and the lead is P2. And at this point, with fuel and tires and everything else, I'm like, you know what? I'll be happy with third. I'm just going to fight off Bottas. Oh, and that's the other thing that I guess is different for me. Like, when I first started playing this game, just keeping the car on the track was enough of a challenge that I really couldn't think about anything else. And it's at a point now where I can think about, fuel strategy and tire strategy, and you do the development programs, and they're teaching you, like, this is how to save fuel. So I am lifting and coasting, trying to save fuel, A, just to finish the race, and B, so I've got maybe half a lap of rich mix if this guy catches me up, and it looks like he's going to. See? Moves like that, man. Moves like that. How to throw away a race. So it's like I'm willing to give him a second per lap if it means I can finish the race. Like if just as an example, if he's 7 seconds back and there's 6 laps to go, I'll give him a second per lap and still be 1 second out in front of him. But then, DRS and everything else. So for a while I thought, okay, fine, I'll get P4 as long as he doesn't take me out when he passes me. But it was like I wasn't going to try to fight him for P3, but then, of course, I do, because I'm just aggressive like that. Now, he's turning fast laps of the race right now. It's a 29-lap race. We're on, like, lap 25 something. He's turning fast laps of the race, but I've backed it way off. And I don't know about you when you're in this sim, but it's like when you drive off the pace for a while intentionally, then for me, it's like I almost forget how to drive on the pace, if that makes sense. And so my first lap trying to get back up to speed, I'm just like an idiot. So I do, as he catches up to me, and I'm like, okay, I will race this guy. I want to keep it going. I can remember, it might even have been lap 27 or 28. I turned fast lap of the race, and he backs off a little bit. So I think, I don't know if that's an AI thing. I don't know if that's something a real driver would do. Like if they thought that I was off pace, and was going to stay that way, they'd make a move. But then, no, he's got another gear. Okay, we'll leave it alone. But he's taking like now 2 and 3 seconds per lap out of me because I'm running slow and he's running fast. But it's never been completely explained to me by somebody that would know whether or not the AI cars need to be concerned about fuel mix, about tires. It would seem like they do, and the game is comprehensive enough that you would think that they do, right? You would think they do. But Maybe they don't. I don't know. I mean, it sort of wouldn't make sense and it wouldn't be fair, but whatever. So yeah, man, he's like, and it gets better, which is, this is what I've wanted. I've said it before in other races. I want to race, man. I don't just want to turn lap after lap. I want to race. I want to go fast. Definitely wanting that podium spot. What else is going on? Oh, Lewis Hamilton dropped out of this race fairly early on, so that's great news for me for points. Raikkonen, I want to say, is in front of me. I think it might even be Vettel and Raikkonen in front of me. Yeah, I got to find a better way to do these replays. But we'll see. We'll see. No hurry. Just a game. Nobody cares. Yeah, right there. I feel like the second part of turn one. You know, I get the right. I nail that, and then that kind of sweeping left. I always end up a little bit too far to the right. I feel like I could straighten that out and get that second apex. But it's like I don't want to go wide. Like I've gone wide enough times. Speaking of wide. And what's funny is, maybe that's what I was trying to say earlier, is it's like it's almost easier to go a lot faster than it is to try to be deliberately off the pace. Because I feel like I go wide a lot more when I am trying to run a little bit slower. Oh, this really makes me happy. It makes me happy when I was doing it. It makes me happy to see it. Oh, and I'm trying to make a wide car, which I've never really had to do before because I get past so quickly that I never really get a chance to defend. But I'm definitely trying to defend for once. Plus the whole DRS thing. Right? Right there. You know you don't get to slipstream me. You can have DRS, you can't have both. Yeah, still. I'll know for next season or next time I race this track, but I want to be definitely more to the left. It's judging perspective on a single monitor setup is tricky. I can definitely see why people run triple monitors. It's really hard for me to see where I am in the track sometimes, as far as curbs and apexes. And I guess it's just driving the car enough that you know that it's sort of second nature or whatever. But like the walls in Monaco and Azerbaijan, you know, just how weird it is to be in that close to the walls and not know, are you going to hit them? Are they that close? You know, what's the deal? Right, so this is when, yeah, my Jeff is telling me he backed off a little bit. So I think he may have been in Rich Mix to catch me up, but obviously he can't stay in Rich Mix for 8 laps. And I think the final, the final nail in his coffin for P3 is this lap traffic. So this has got to be just about the last lap. Although, yeah, I think there's a little bit more drama here. Nothing wrong with that. And I will also, now, last career, I had the brilliant idea that the first thing I did was I took my resource points, my 2,000 bonus resource points that they give you to start the race. I took those and I immediately committed them to making my R&D more reliable and more affordable. And then, like, the first big thing that we bought failed testing anyway. And it was like I had just thrown away 2,000 points that we could have spent on improving the car. I had spent that to make our R&D more reliable. It failed the testing anyway, and we had to pay another 500 to do it. Oh, game. So this time we went ahead and engine is strong. Mercedes engine in the Williams. No problem there. we are deficient on chassis and aerodynamics, so we did the first 2 improvements to those for 1,000 points apiece. We've got about 750 points as it stands right now, and I believe after this race we will have another 1,000, so we can do 3 improvements before we go to, where's the second race of the season? Bahrain? Qatar? Abu Dhabi? I don't know, it's somewhere. So I don't know if either one of them will be available for that race, but we're going to focus more on improving the car and less on the reliability of our R&D, because that didn't work out the way I planned it to last time. And who are we chasing here? Is that a Toro Rosso? Looks blue. That's all I can see. This game does have quite a bit of glare. Yeah, Toro Rosso. I really can't see. There's so much sparkle and reflection. Yeah, I think that was the break that I needed. That little bit of a bobble that Bottas had getting around slower traffic. I think that was what we needed, and I want to say that's it. Is there one more bit of drama? There might be one more little bit of excitement. And I know my fuel state is definitely on my mind these last couple laps. Yeah, there's a little bit more drama. Rich mix. Bumping. Forget it. And then, now that seems like an AI thing when it made that little correction to get back online. Like that, to me, that was a very AI move. That's not something natural that a person would do. So, I want to say, checkered flag. I want to say this is it. Beautiful. Is that it? It's got to be it. That's it. Right on. So let me get our menu back here, and then we'll go back here. Right, so we got third, and then if we go down to standings, there we go. Okay, so that's better than normal. And, that's better than normal too. Okay, so where's my teammate? Oi. Okay. He was way back there. So that placement for the constructor, that's just all me. And then the Ferraris did finish 1-2. Fantastic. Okay. So advance, and let's see how we did on points, and let's see what our Emma has to say. And I think game crashing, game loading. Nope. Are we back? Okay. Oh, that was that was not too cool. Okay, I'll have to remember not to do this again. Sometimes this will hold through a loading screen, and other times it will stop recording, and I'll have to remember not to do this again because it looked like it. There we go. Right. Okay, so we have enough points to make another improvement to the car. How we doing on rivalry? Yes. Fantastic. So that's going good. Beautiful. This is going good. Introduction to career score. Fantastic. Don't care about that. Right on. This is going to be an invitational. I'm going to go ahead and sign out for this. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for our first episode of F1 2017. And we'll see you next time. Take care now.